Fiona and Cake Season 2 Episode 10 is here, and so as always I'll be breaking down the episode, covering everything that happens, giving any theories I might have, as well as my overall review of the episode. But with that said, now let's dive into Fiona and Cake Season 2 Episode 10, which is titled The Bear and the Rose. The episode begins with us seeing Finn help out his mom by clearing out the pool, which is filled with these little crab robots, as Minerva then tells Finn that she set up a date for him, and Finn tells her that he's dating Huntress Wizard, as Minerva tells him that she wants him to have someone to basically go on dates with, and just overall wants him to be happy. Just her kind of reminiscing and wanting Finn to have what her and Martin had, which is really wholesome. But Finn then punches the ever-living shit out of this crab, before we then cut back to the present, where of course everyone is extremely worried as Finn is about to die. But they then bring up the idea of making Finn kind of how Minerva is, uploading his brainwaves and more or less making him immortal, questioning whether it's morally right or what Finn would want, but not really knowing what else to do at this point. But we then cut to Gary and Marshall, who of course then see that the sweet spot is completely ruined, and of course believe that Queenie did it, but Fiona then tells them that it was her, and that she didn't mean to and will do anything to make it up to them. But they just walk away extremely pissed at her, which is honestly pretty fair. But Fiona then listens in on Fennel and Hunter's conversation, with Fennel saying that she's not necessarily mad at Fiona for kissing Felix, but more so is just mad at the fact that she thought that her and Fiona could be friends. But we then cut to Huntress Wizard, who continues to try to find a way back to Ooh, finally going into all of the seeds that she scattered across the multiverse, re-entering the vampire world, this other cool world that we haven't seen, the farm world where one of her kids actually sees her, thinking that his mom came back, which is pretty sad. She then also enters the baby world, a world where she just can't breathe, and then what appears to be Ooh, what is then revealed to be a reality where Finn actually married the slime princess, and I guess became the warrior of the slime kingdom. Kind of a what if to the episode Slow Love from Adventure Time. But we then go back to Finn, who is surrounded now by everyone, as they truly believe that this is his last day alive. But the banana guards then bring in who they call Finn's closest family member, who is just Nectar, which was pretty funny. But Princess Bubblegum then shows off the body that she made, that Finn will have to go into when his brain is uploaded, and it instantly just makes BMO cry, showing that this is not the best option. But Huntress Wizard then teams up with the Witch Wizard as she is able to get into the heart, as we get this extremely cool visual of them transcending back to Ooh, as we then go back to everyone surrounding Finn crying as they're about to upload his consciousness, or in other words put him out of his misery, while singing the Sleepy Puppy's lullaby all the way back from the episode Meow. Genuinely such a good callback and made this scene just so emotional. Like, as they crushed Finn, I genuinely thought that this was it, he was gonna die here, and it even actually surprisingly had me crying. But of course Huntress Wizard then comes back and tries to save him, and as she says that she needs more life in order to do so, BMO of course instantly gives up his life in order to save Finn. But Huntress Wizard, not wanting any other lives to be lost, once again connects to all of the other seeds of her planet throughout the multiverse, becoming her full self once again, and gaining enough life force power in order to actually save Finn. This scene was actually so beautiful. To see Finn finally breathe again after everything just made all of the time building up to this feel so much more impactful, and at least for me, it kind of made all of the pacing issues throughout the season feel actually good and worth it. But nonetheless, they then realize that Finn's consciousness isn't in the cloud, and so even if he was alive for a second, now he's kind of just a shell. And so Huntress Wizard goes to tell Cake what's happening and to go get Fiona, who we then see finally tell Flame Prince that they aren't good for each other, finally giving a proper conclusion to their love story, before Cake then appears and tells Fiona that she has to go into Finn's mind in order to save him. And as Fiona recollects all the memories she has of Finn, she actually enters Finn's imagination, which we haven't seen since season 1 of Adventure Time. So this was actually a pretty cool callback. But she then enters Finn's mind room, where she then crawls down a hole to the Pello Fort from Pujoy, as well as then sees the labyrinth of the Lemongrab Castle, the dungeon where Fern trapped Finn, the stairway inside of the Candy Kingdom Castle, as well as some other places that I would assume are from the original series. But as she goes further down into his memories, she finds Finn, who was actually his teenage self in a box. And Fiona tells him that there's a lot of people waiting for him, but Finn says that regardless, he still feels like dump trucks, as well as that nobody loves him as much as Jake did. Finn is actually so traumatized by Jake's death, and it's actually just so sad. But Fiona then tells Finn that Huntress Wizard loves him and that she's been fighting like hell to save him, and as well has learned from her that she needs to treat her friends better. And hearing this, Finn comes out of the box as the two then grab each other's hands, and Finn officially comes back. As Finn and Huntress Wizard then kiss and everyone celebrates, ending Huntress Wizard and Finn and Oo's side of the story in honestly the most perfect way they could. My goat lives to see another day. Thank God they didn't kill him here, and also thank God they didn't kill Huntress Wizard either or make her sacrifice herself to save him. I saw a lot of people saying that they would have hated if that happened, and I of course would not have been a fan of it either. But nonetheless, we then cut the kid confronting Monochromacorn, finally revealing to him that she's a fucking cat and that she didn't feel right kissing him, as he then says that she's magic and asks her if they can just be friends, ending their story in a pretty good way. But we then cut to Gary and Marshall, who then see that Fiona actually made them a cake to apologize to them. And at first Gary says that it's not enough, but after eating the cake, Gary comes around saying that next time he'll help her, as Fiona then hugs Gary and apologizes once again, as well as the Marshall saying that she should have listened to him about her mom and that she didn't know how deep it went. But we then get one last Marshall Lee song as we get a montage of what everyone is up to after the finale, seeing Kay continue to hang out with the karmic worm, Fiona seemingly apologizing to Fennel, the Scarab trying to help Prismo get over everything that just happened, Huntress Wizard actually teaching a class in Wizard City, Finn finally getting that much needed axe mod, the Spirit Dream Warrior seeing Astrid run off acting like Fiona or Finn and then following her interested by it, so possibly she really is like the next generation's Fiona and now maybe he's gonna help her on her path. But we then see Gary teaching a cooking class, Marshall playing songs with Simone, Fiona and Fennel officially becoming friends, and Fiona even asking Queenie to invest in this place, but of course Queenie just runs off being her usual self. But Fiona then sees a board blocking off a supposed street, but when kicking it down, she sees that her world just got a lot bigger as the gang all runs off into the sun, ending their story showing that they have a lot more adventures ahead of them. And this series then seemingly ends, but we actually get an end credit scene where Marshall is confronted by none other than Hunson Abadeer, who isn't an alternate version of Hunson but is just Hunson Abadeer. This is an ending I genuinely just did not expect. It's definitely setting something up for season 3, but I genuinely have no idea what. So definitely let me know what you thought about this cliffhanger down in the comments and any theories you might have for season 3. But nonetheless, I think this episode was extremely good, and I think they honestly handled and resolved everyone's stories in the best ways they could, whilst also seemingly setting up the next. I truly do hope we get a season 3 in the future, and with this ending, they're really making it seem like there will be. But nonetheless, that's going to be the end of the video, so if you enjoyed it, be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see y'all in the next one whenever that is.